Hey, what's up, everybody? So coming to you today with the what's next on former two-time world title challenger Luis Ortiz. He came in my number 7 heavyweight in the world, heading into his fight on November 7th, where he main evented a Fox card against little-known Alexander Flores. Originally, Ortiz was supposed to fight on the undercard, and Andy Ruiz Jr. was supposed to fight in the main event. But Ruiz had to pull out of the fight, and Ortiz became the main event. It was his first fight in a year since he had gotten knocked out in his rematch with Deontay Wilder. And, he bounced back impressively, stopping Flores pretty damn quick. I know Flores injured his knee in the first round. I think it only lasted 45 seconds. But, Flores was getting hit with some good shots already, and part of the reason he went down was because of a body shot, that hurt him. So he messed up his knee, it looked like, on the way down. But he was hurt. He was hurt bad. And, Luis Ortiz, he's still the boogeyman at heavyweight. He's still the guy that nobody wants to fight. And he's dangerous. He is very dangerous. Even at I think he's 41 years old now. This guy is just dangerous for anybody in the heavyweight division, including Deontay Wilder. He has been in both fights with Wilder. He's been winning on points when Wilder finally caught him and knocked him out. And those are his only 2 losses. A lot of the other top heavyweights don't want to have nothing to do with him. Now, originally, all that being said, now what's next for Luis Ortiz? It's nothing guaranteed. I know there was originally talks earlier in the year that Andy Ruiz wanted to get in the ring with Luis Ortiz. I don't know if they're going to link up now. If Andy Ruiz is putting his next fight off until January, maybe Ortiz comes back and fights in January on an undercard, since he made such quick work of Flores. I would like to see that. Let Ortiz come back, stay busy, fight on another undercard. If Andy Ruiz is really serious, and then they build towards a title eliminator next year, because that would make most sense, because I don't know if Luis Ortiz is going to get a title shot, next year, he's going to probably have to win an eliminator. Nobody's really going to want to fight him, and they're all going to have, all the champions are pretty much going to have themselves tied up. So I think Ortiz's best bet is to get into some kind of eliminator. He's ranked, I think he's ranked 4th in both the WBC and the WBA right now. So he could probably move himself in line to an eliminator and step up and face, hopefully, like I said, hopefully Andy Ruiz, because Ruiz is ranked pretty high in both those governing bodies as well, especially the WBC. But real quick, we run them through the top 10 and see if there's any possibility of Ortiz getting any of the top 10 guys in the ring in his next fight. Let's run through them. Let's start with number 1, Tyson Fury. Fury's not going to take the risk on a guy like Ortiz. Not when he has, Anthony Joshua, and he might have to go through Deontay Wilder in a 3rd fight first, but he has the Anthony Joshua fight just waiting for him. He's not going to risk a guy like Ortiz, who has been knocked out twice against the guy he knocked out, Deontay Wilder. So that ain't going to happen. Anthony Joshua, well, if Joshua doesn't get Tyson Fury next, he's got a mandatory defense against Alexander Usyk. So after his fight with Kubrat Pulev in December, granted he gets through that. So Luis Ortiz not on his radar at all. So Joshua fight not happening. A 3rd fight with Deontay Wilder, no. Wilder's knocked him out twice. He did it very convincingly the second time. Left no doubt. No need for a 3rd fight. Wilder's not interested, not at all. Andy Ruiz Jr. This fight is possible. I think if he gets a fight against somebody, as long as Andy Ruiz is willing to fight him, and I know Andy Ruiz is going to want to have a tune-up next. These 2 guys could lock up next year. So next, no, I don't think. Ortiz, if he waits around for Andy Ruiz, maybe, but I think he's more likely to get on an undercard, maybe the Andy Ruiz undercard in January, and then boom, set these 2 guys up for the summer. To go at it, and an eliminator, maybe an interim title fight, something on those lines, and put themselves in line for a title shot. So, yeah, I think this one is possible next year, but I don't think it's going to happen next. Okay, number 5 is Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin's fighting Dillian Whyte next, so Ortiz would not get Alexander Povetkin next, so no. And I don't know if Povetkin would want to fight him anyways, you know. That's a high-risk fight. Number 6 is Alexander Usyk, the undisputed former cruiserweight champion. Undefeated former cruiserweight champion. Yeah, I mean, Usyk pretty much, he's going to either fight the number 2 fighter for an interim belt next, or he's going to, in the WBO, or he's going to get a direct shot at Anthony Joshua for that title. So I really don't see, Ortiz not on his radar. Number 7 would be, Ortiz is number 7. Number 8 would be Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's going at Alexander Povetkin next for the interim belt in a rematch. So, yeah, this one ain't happening. Number 9 is, Joseph Parker. I highly doubt it. I think Parker's lining himself up for possibly facing Alexander Usyk. I think this might be the most possible fight, though, because Parker really wants to get a good fighter in the ring. I know he's fighting in his home country next against Junior Fa in December, but I really think Parker would consider a fight with Ortiz just to get himself on the map. But that's granted he doesn't get a crack at Alexander Usyk. But I don't think he would completely rule out a showdown with Luis Ortiz. And then the couple guys that are tied for 10th, you got Kubrat Pulev. Pulev's fighting Joshua next. If he somehow upset Joshua, he'd have to fight probably Joshua again, Alexander Usyk, or Tyson Fury. And Luis Ortiz not on his radar. And then the other guy that I think is possible that's tied for 9th is Michael Hunter. Actually, he's tied for 10th. Michael Hunter, American fighter. I wouldn't rule this one out. Michael Hunter is going to want to make an impression. He's being avoided. I think he might, Ortiz might fight a guy like Michael Hunter, especially if it's some kind of an eliminator, because Hunter's looking for a fight, Ortiz is looking for a fight. I think this one has some legs, could have some legs to it. I wouldn't be surprised if these two guys locked horns next to try to move up the heavyweight rankings, because it would be significant. So that's it. Again, Michael Hunter, possibly Joseph Parker, could be next for Ortiz in the top 10. Outside of that, I think the most logical thing would probably be him just taking a tune-up on the undercard of Andy Ruiz's next fight against Chris Arreola, who it was supposed to be. And then hopefully that sets up a showdown between these two, which I'm hoping Andy Ruiz is still interested in. So that's it. That's the What's Next. I'm former 2-time world title challenger Luis Ortiz. I hope you guys enjoyed this. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.